welcome to a new episode of Monroe MustHangs. I'm your host, David Spiegel, and here with me today, we're switching things up a bit, bringing on a member of the Monroe College Express. Please welcome women's basketball coach Jeremy Thompson.
How's everybody doing? How you doing, Dave?
Hey, Jeremy. Thanks for joining me. So we wanted to bring you on today actually for a special reason because you were recently invited to and participated in a really prestigious event called the TopConnect NJCAA Symposium. It's a relatively new or changing event, and you'll do a better job of this than I would. So I'd like for you to explain to our audience what exactly this event is.
Absolutely. So TopConnect was originally a program designed for assistant coaches on the men's and women's side in the NJCAA to have a chance to go through a 2-3 day convention where they were, meeting with, different Division I and head coaches and ADs and administrators and school presidents, and kind of gave you a chance to learn about the journeys of all of those people who eventually went from being in junior college to working in the NCAA at the highest level. And it also was an opportunity to kind of, as a coach, develop, personally, learn kind of like how you navigate the environment, what you need to do to be successful, as obviously a lot of these people that were part of the convention have been very successful. And then this year they transitioned the event to selecting 30 men's coaches and 11 women's head coaches to be part of the event. And this year was really awesome because the 11 women's coaches were from all over the country. A few of them who I was familiar with just from during this time, I haven't interacted with them. But what was really great is we had a chance, the convention opened up with a panel of athletic directors and school administrators. We talked about kind of what it's like to coach in junior college and how you make the transition during your career to work at a higher level. They talked about, advice in running your program and different things that they've found to be successful at all different levels, whether it be general culture stuff to budgeting, scheduling, how you run your program specifically. And then, the remainder of the conference over the course of the 2 days was an opportunity to hear from men's and women's coaches and interact with them and have conversations about the junior college experience and how it prepares you to kind of continue on. And, luckily that some of the people that we got to hear from, again, included, Buzz Williams, who was a junior college coach and now at Texas A&M, Chanda Rigby, who's the women's coach at Troy, Keitha Adams, who's the women's coach at Wichita State, Steve Forbes, who's the head coach at the men's in Wake Forest, and Brittany Azell, who's the head coach at Eastern Tennessee State. And the person who founded the conference is Dr. Richard Sander, who is the athletic director at East Tennessee State. And I was super grateful to have been selected by him to be a part of this. And I actually had a chance to speak to him one-on-one during the conference. And it was, what he's done with this is incredible. And it was just an amazing experience.
What are some of the best experiences you took away from this convention?
I think the first thing that was really informative and I really enjoyed was kind of getting to hear from Dr. Richard Sander, who's the athletic director, as I had mentioned, at East Tennessee State, and him just talking about how he, looks at his coaching staff, what within his athletic department does he expect, and, it kind of gave you a little bit of insight just on, how, that athletic administration operates, and you really get a chance to learn a lot about the ins and outs of everything from facilities to budgeting, support staff, and it makes you realize that when you're a coach at junior college, you're getting such amazing experience, doing so many different things. And then I think for me, the highlights of the conference were getting a chance to hear, Steve Forbes and, Buzz Williams on the men's side, and then getting to hear Brittany Azell, Keitha Adams, and Chanda Rigby. And, to me, one of the things that stood out was, Buzz Williams, was talking, obviously he coached Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler went to Tyler. And, he said that he has 3 rules within his program, which is respond, don't react, listen, don't speak, and learn, don't assume. And I thought those were, extraordinarily interesting core values to, run your program by. And that was, certainly something that I wrote down. I mean, I have pages and pages of notes on different things. I also thought was interesting that all of the athletic directors and some of the women's coaches spoke to, which was, at the college level, everybody's a coach. You have this kind of label like you're a JUCO coach, but that stigma is being moved away because we're all kind of working together in a sense, and we're hoping that our kids continue to play at different levels, but we're all essentially doing the same thing. We're coaching, we're working hard for our kids, and I had a chance to speak to Coach Brittany Azell after the conference, and she's a wonderful person and just had so much insight on starting off as a coach and, where she started in her journey. And, also just kind of having a chance to hear these coaches describe what they evaluate within junior college athletes and how they evaluate good programs and where they're going to get their kids from. And, you look to things like that as you run your own program, because your expectation is that, these men and women are going to come, visit your practice, and you want to be as prepared as you can be to make sure that your kids have the opportunity to go there. And I think the overall message was kind of, the being selfless, and that the whole, it's not really about you. The coaching part is the part that I absolutely love, but I think the part that everybody enjoys, and you could kind of get that from the conference, was, being an impact for all of our student athletes and helping them continue their journey. Because whether you're a JUCO coach or you're coaching, a Division 3, 2, or 1 in the NCAA or whatever, we're all part of their journey, and we're all part of helping them progress, learn, and mature. And I think that was really valuable.
Well, that's great. And that sounds like, while we're here all the time working with junior college athletes that are with us for 2 years and trying to move them on to the NCAA schools, it also goes to show that it's not just the athletes that can start at this level, work their way up and find themselves somewhere great, because you just named a whole bunch of coaches that were working for a bunch of different junior colleges and eventually found their ways to big time NCAA Division 1, Division 2 schools. So, and across the country as well. So, it's junior colleges just seems to be a great learning experience for not only athletes, but coaches as well, and administrators. But in my short time knowing you, and this speaks to how you got involved with all this, you seem to be a master at networking. And I think that played a big role in you getting involved in the TopConnect Symposium this year. So what was it that you did recently that kind of got you noticed and got you this invite and made people want you to be part of this?
I think it was the whole pandemic that continues to go on was a really tough time, and it continues to be. And I think as coaches and as athletes, we were looking for trying to identify ways to keep the athletes together, keep the coaches together, and maintain that community while everyone figured it out. And, during the early stages back in March, I began something on Zoom, which was a women's basketball chalk talk, where we just invited head coaches and assistants from across the NCAA Division 1 level to hop on. And we talked about different challenges and stuff we did for our programs. And it was kind of a sounding board and a safe place to talk. And it was great. And then, we continued to have some really amazing guests from across the NCAA women's side and men's side, which included coaches like Kelly Graves at Oregon and Amanda Butler at Clemson. And then, on the men's side, Tom Crean at Georgia. And, they were all so kind in contributing their time. And all of the coaches that were on these calls were so selfless. And, as you started to see the community growing on these calls, I felt an obligation to make sure that it was a learning platform for everybody. So I used it as a way I reached out to, a lot of NBA coaches and head coaches and assistants, and we began what I had called the NBA Zoom series. Now, it wasn't like advertised on social media because I didn't want it to be something that, it was more of a private thing, whereas, I invited every coach that, and shared it with as many people as I could, but it was more like if you wanted to be there, this was kind of being sent out. And it ended up, the email list, which started with 25 people, grew to 400 coaches across the country. And, we ended up having anywhere from, 25 people to 60, 70 people a night. And we did it 3 nights a week. And we had some amazing NBA coaches come on and present on different subjects, from, my guy, DJ Baker at the Pistons, who, talked about transition and transition offense. And he's been an amazing mentor to me, but also guys that I didn't know as well, but wanted to be a part of it. And we had, Rex Kalaman from the LA Clippers come on and talk defense. And, we had David Atkins from the Wizard talk team warm-up drills. And I think it wasn't so much about like the name of the person. It was the fact that these guys work at the most elite level, and the women's game and men's game is constantly developing. And it was a chance for us to take things and learn things from these coaches that maybe we can implement. And to be honest with you, I just created it as a safe place for coaches to kind of learn. And I'm grateful that I met so many people, and it was such an amazing experience to learn from so many great guys. And I think one of the highlights was, Phil Handy with the LA Lakers. He just won a championship, and, he came on and discussed a lot of the specifics that he does in workouts. And, as I'm listening to these calls and listening to the questions that coaches are asking him, you start to see what are the little things that other coaches are focusing on versus what I'm focusing on. And you really start to broaden, your base of knowledge as to what you want to learn and what you want to continue to focus on.
That's great. And I commend you for staying involved in the college and professional basketball community during this time when we really did have a lot of free time. So, a lot of people say they want to be productive. They want to learn some new things during this time. So you really stepped up there. So like I said, I really commend you for doing that. And something you've actually continued along the same lines is that you've kind of used your Monroe Express women's basketball platform to continue teaching people in the athletic community with the Express Talks that you started on your Instagram page. You actually have a student athlete that's interviewing professional athletes and others involved in professional, Olympic, college sports. Do you want to speak a little bit more about what Express Talk is all about?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just me that is part of that. The host, who's an incoming freshman, who's a redshirt, Taina Maldonado, has done an absolutely excellent job. The first one or two interviews, we kind of helped her prepare a little bit, but she has taken control of it. And, we've just continued to bring on guests, and she's done an amazing job of talking to these, athletes and authors and analysts and just amazing insight. But the goal of when we started this Express Talks was to provide a platform for, the kids in New York City or any, young college athletes for a chance to hear from people that, we don't usually have access to at a young age. And, one of the goals that I've always had as a coach at Monroe is that I want all my student athletes to have an opportunity to hear from people that maybe they've never had that opportunity to hear from, and interact with people that are successful. And I think the women in the sports industry now that have had such success are so important as role models, and, with their journeys and learning how they did what they did and how they got to where they are. And, Taina's done a great job with the Express Talks and, interviewing these different athletes and anyone involved in the industry and really discovering what motivates them and, how they overcame adversity. And, I feel very lucky that we're able to use our basketball platform for more than just basketball itself, and hopefully, that impacts, our ability to learn and also our ability to have continued success.
Hey Mustangs, I just wanted to tell you about the brand new Monroe MustHangs sideline store, powered by our apparel partner, BSN Sports. Create your own unique piece of Mustang gear by choosing from hundreds of apparel options, colors, graphics, and your choice of the new Monroe MustHangs logo collection. Throughout the month of October, you can take 20% off your order of $85 or more by using the promo code OCT20, that's OCT20, at checkout. Visit the Monroe Mustang sideline store at monroecollegemustangs.com/shop and gear up for the new school year.
Again, I think it's something it's going really well for you guys. And, it's a similar venture as to me starting the Monroe MustHangs podcast interview show. You guys are doing Express Talks, giving some good content out on, out of the Bronx over there. So for those people who are watching right now, make sure you go follow the Monroe Express women's basketball team at MC Express WBB on Instagram. The whole library of those Instagram talks are on IGTV. It's also on the Monroe Express website under the women's basketball page. So definitely go check those out because they've been a really good learning experience, especially for young women in collegiate and professional athletics. So this past season was your first year with the Monroe Express. I'd say pretty successful. You gave the team its first winning season under your tutelage, going 19-13, made it back to the Region 15 playoffs, won the program's second ever playoff victory against Dutchess Community College. What was your experience with this first season in the Bronx?
It was an amazing experience just to, be a part of the Monroe family and the Monroe mission, which, is probably why I chose to come here in the first place. It was just the ability to help these student athletes and provide a great experience. That's the most important thing. I want to win more than anybody, maybe more than everybody. And, I know my kids want to win more than everybody too, and I'm very competitive. We talk about winning the day in everything. Like, we talk about winning the day during class. We talk about winning the day during meetings. Like, how do we win? But it's not really, that type of winning is just winning in life and being successful. And, my first year at Monroe, I was blessed with a great recruiting class, and, we were able to compete all year round, and we certainly had our ups and downs. But what I found to be, great was we had kids that wanted to learn, kids that wanted to be successful. And I've always said that, the one thing before we even build our culture within the program is that you all have in common the fact that you came here to get a degree and continue your basketball career. So if you can share that in common just coming in, then you already have a way to relate to your teammates. And, we continue to emphasize that before, we began to institute our culture where, I think goes back to what I spoke to, but, having effort and attitude, equals opportunity, which is the chance to, really interact outside of the game. But, there are some great memories. We had some great games. I look back to beating Cecil College at Cecil in an amazing game that came down to the very last minute. And, those 19 wins were fantastic. I think they were all great learning experiences, but this team is really talented, and, it's not all because of me. It has to do with the work ethic of the kids. It has to do with my assistants. It has to do with, collaborative work by everybody on the court. And, I'm there to guide and strategize. But, I think it's exciting to be in the Bronx, especially because, Monroe Bronx had, basketball a long time ago on campus. And now, I'm part of a chance to revive that basketball culture here in the Bronx. And I love the kind of the history. And I've asked around, I've talked to, Alan Jenkins, who's an academic advisor. And, he's showed me a little bit of the history. And so has our athletic director, who I'm so grateful for, and, it's amazing to be part of a program where you're kind of revitalizing the basketball culture, and you have these unbelievably amazing kids. And, in our this year that we're getting ready for, although it's like unprecedented times, we have a recruiting class that is amazing. And some of the best kids I've coached alongside an amazing recruiting class from last year. So I think last year's success, is a great memory, but I don't think you can hang on that for too long. I think, everything is about moving forward and, enjoying it in the moment and then preparing for what's next. And, what's next is not only competing as a team. What's next is making sure that these players get the right player development, they improve, they have a chance to get offers and looks from different schools. And, we open the doors for them to continue their basketball career and also get a degree. And I think that that's, what is most important, especially right now.
So a lot of your coaching roots are based in the tri-state area, mostly New York and Connecticut. Most recently, before coming to Monroe, you were coaching at CCNY, City College in New York, which is not too far away from Monroe in the Bronx. So how did you get started coaching specifically in women's basketball, and what was your journey like finding your way to Monroe?
It was a long journey, and it was an interesting journey, but I learned so much. And I learned so much from different people. I was blessed to work with great people. And I think that's a huge part of like anybody's career moving forward. And so, I started as a freshman girls basketball coach, and I always knew I wanted to coach college ball, but I didn't know how I'd get there. I was just motivated to do the best I could wherever I was, not looking forward, like, while I'm at one place, I want to make sure I can do this at the next place. Like, it was always about being where your feet are, and doing the best job you could at your current place. And the best advice I ever got was, wherever you are, let it be your UConn, or let it be your dream job. And that was, how I treated it. We had some success as a freshman girls basketball coach. And then, I had some success with the varsity program. And then, I took over a high school program. That was my first head coaching experience. And, that we had great kids, but the league we were in was tough. And, that was overcoming adversity was a huge part of that. And then, I built a youth program in Connecticut, which was, grew and grew, and we opened a facility, and it was fantastic. And I think we made a great impact in the youth programs in that part of Connecticut and, the northern part of Connecticut. And then, I had a chance to work with J.R. Fredette, who had come from, Division I men's side, and he was coaching the women, and he was an elite type of guy, and just being around him every day and also working all the time. Like, it didn't matter to me how many hours I was there, because he always used to say, love what you do and do what you love. And I used to just be a sponge and learn as much as I could. And then I kind of moved towards Mitchell College, in a part of a rebuild. And then I had a chance to go to City College with Jamie Angeli. And I'll tell you, he was probably one of the greatest friends I have now and one of the most important people in my life. Just everything he taught me. He has a storied career from being at UCLA in the 90s to Lake Superior State. And then on the women's side, being an advanced scout for the Mystics and, having been at Seattle. But I've never learned so much about, what I can do and where I can go. And, he said to me the first day that we ever went to watch our kids in an open gym, he said to me, "You ever want to be a head coach in junior college?" And I had said, "Yeah, I do." And it's funny because JR used to tell me when I worked for him, he was like, "You'd be a great fit in junior college," because I used to recruit a lot of junior college kids. And, the connection was always there with JUCO for me, and it was always very important. And, after City College, Monroe opened up, and, I had a chance to interview with Lou and Allaire. And I tell Allaire all the time that I am so thankful, because every day I get to wake up and be a part of this program and be a part of the Monroe College system and family is a great day for me. Like, I don't even look towards the, whatever's, I enjoy every day, because this is a great place. The vision is there. The support is there. I can see that my kids are enjoying their experience. And even during these unprecedented times, like, our school has done a fantastic job of being a support to them and helping them. And I'm grateful to be a part of that, and grateful to be a part of the system that is there to help them. And, I'm pumped to be on the court. That's also a great thing, that we're one of the few schools out there practicing and getting ready for the season. And I know it means the world to the kids, and, I'm ready to go to practice. So I'm excited about that.
Now, I know you're running a little bit low on time here this morning, but I do want to speak about what you just finished up there with, dealing with, obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic. We're back to work. We're working hard, getting ready for the 2021 season, as it will be called now. So what has been different so far about your approach to practice and workouts, and how is it going so far?
I mean, for me, I think it's about preparing these kids accordingly and understanding that we're coming out of unprecedented times. So we're not just going to jump into everything and push too hard. We're going to push them to be elite and push them to be great, and because you want to have that mindset. But, it's a process, and it goes back to what everybody says is trust the process. And so, we've slowly eased into it. We have some concepts in, but we're also doing player development. And although some people may look at it and say, like, "Oh, we don't get to play until January," whatever is the safest way to play is the best way to do this. And I'm a firm believer in that. However you tell me is the safest way to get my kids on the court, that's great. And so the NJCAA has said we're not going to play till January, which has allowed us this time to work on player development. And we've never had this time to just do player development. And, we're getting to see kids develop and obviously recondition and get back to where they were. But, I think that it's all about taking advantage. Like, how can you gain a competitive edge during this time, and how can your players benefit and use this time to overcome adversity? Because mentally it's exhausting for our players, and I feel for them, because it's got to be challenging. And I know from talking to them that it is. But I heard someone speak yesterday, and I think it was the best thing I've heard this whole time, was you got to live with being uncomfortable to be a good team this year. And being uncomfortable does not just mean like, feeling out of it. It means like not feeling too great, not feeling too low, but being in the middle and being able to live with the ups and downs and the pauses and the changes in schedule. And our kids have done a great job of being flexible. And I think it also, our coaching staff has done a great job. Like we're on the court, like that's amazing. So we're just grateful that we're out there and, like we're trying to tell them, just, focus on being the best version of yourself that you can be. And our job will be to get you to where you want to be. And we'll use this time effectively. So.
It's a great way to look at it too. And I've spoken to a couple of our coaches in New Rochelle recently about, what it's like approaching this new season. And a lot of them have said the same thing, that it's a good time to work on player development because now you have a few extra months with your team on campus that you don't have to worry about games. You just get ready for that new season. You know when that start date is, and you have so much more time to work on everything that there is to work on. So, as someone who's not a coach myself, I appreciate what you and all the other coaches are doing right now. So far, so good, it sounds like to me, on both campuses. So it's great to hear. Again, I know we're running out of time here for you. So as one of our more active coaches on social media, is there anything you want to plug right now? Any of your pages you want to ask for follows on?
I think our Instagram, our MC Express WBB on social media, on Instagram and on Twitter are great to kind of see what's going on within our program. I think that, our website has a great article about NJCAA Day, which was a great thing to be a part of and a great day to recognize our student athletes. But, at the end of the day, I think it really just boils down to one thing is that, and New Rochelle's obviously doing a great job and the Bronx campus as well. It just feels good to be around the coaches for all the sports that we have in the Bronx, to see them kind of working as hard as I am and all of us kind of working towards a common goal. And it's just exciting. And I think, it always feels good to see everybody around you, striving for the same thing. And, I'm just excited we're back with the kids and they have a chance to be back here. So, not so much, I'd love people to follow, and I would encourage people so they can see what we're doing, because there's just a ton of great material and we've got stuff coming out, Express Talks every day. But again, it's about our program, and it's about the programs we surround ourselves with, and, just continued success. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out there. And obviously my focus right now is my program, my team, and, being part of this moment and somewhat history of kind of being one of the first teams to go out there and compete when we get to that point, and just take every day. The best thing I can say is, take one day at a time and just be grateful for every time you step on the court. Be grateful that Monroe's done a great job of getting us out there, and let's go. I'm ready to go, and I'm excited to see what the Express season for basketball brings this year.
Well, congratulations on a successful first season with the Express. I know we were all excited to see the improvement this year, and we're looking forward to this past year and looking forward to seeing what the team is able to do on the court this coming season. And congratulations on earning your opportunity with the TopConnect Symposium. Again, it's just you said only 11 women's basketball coaches are invited to this from around the country, so it's just an absolutely great thing. To our audience, thank you for watching another episode of Monroe MustHangs. Make sure you follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Follow the Instagram page at Monroe MustHangs, and check out our archive. We've got a lot of great episodes. Coach Thompson, thank you again for joining us today, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you. Right. I appreciate you taking the time.
Everyone, take care, stay safe. We'll see you next time.